much. This is Anthony Williams, and I'm going to be talking about something which we all learned recently and which I decided I needed to get to the bottom of. Context, purpose, results. It has probably taken me longer than most to get onto the path of self-development and self-improvement. But someone once said, I hear it is a Chinese saying, that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Sure. All right.
More recently, somebody else in the Lions Circle remarked that there is a reason why we are all here. I have no doubt that there is a reason why I am here. It becomes clearer day by day that my desire to be a part of something meaningful is being fulfilled by me being a member of UBK LC. The programs and events definitely take me out of my comfort zone, and so will lead to brain muscle stretching and growth. No doubt it will do the same for you. One of the concepts introduced some meetings ago was CPR, context, purpose, results. It was new, it was interesting, and so I had to get to the bottom of it. Needless to say, I'm by no means an expert at it as yet, but I realize it is a tool with enormous potential. Let me therefore tell you what I have learned from delving into the subject. First, the tool can be used for anything. Originally, it was developed as a corporate planning tool, but because most corporate tools are adaptable, it can be distilled down to the level of a group or an individual. The best way to learn the use of any new tool is to take it for a ride and play with it. This is how I have found the CPR works. First, I start with an overall project. Then I outline the several various results that will be achieved as a result of that project being achieved. So we start with a project which we have near and dear or whatever is important, and then we look at the results that will accrue from that project being taken on and achieved. The trick here is to state the results as if they have already happened. Hence, they will either be stated in the present or past tense. You basically imagine and project yourself to the future, surrounded by the conditions or results you wish to see. This reminds me of a statement made by Albert Einstein. Imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited to all we know and see now, while imagination embraces all possibilities. Note that results can be quantitative. For example, I want to earn a salary of $250,000 a year by 2013. Or the results can be qualitative. I want everyone to like my presentation and feel enlightened. The important thing is that they are written in the past or present tense because they have already happened or are currently happening. These results, now imagined as already achieved, act as a pull. Next, I state the purpose of the project that I'm going to carry out. That is, why am I going to carry out that project? It is quite possible to now mix up purpose and results. The best description of purpose, or the why, is the feeling that I will gain from completing the project, or a feeling that others will gain, or how lives and perhaps the world will be impacted for the better. Just as how results are written in the past or the present tense, purpose is a futuristic statement. It is usually to feel or to know. Context is the final item. Context is a mindset. How must I be, or who must I be to make my purpose and my results true? I'll highlight mindset and concept a little bit and context a little bit, because I was reading this story the other day about George Washington, the first US president. And before America fought the War of Independence, Washington was an ordinary soldier, and the Americans and the French were warring, but they came to a kind of truce. And Washington was leading some soldiers, and he came upon a group of Frenchmen. And without any provocation, he thought they were still at war. He shot and killed all of them. And it turns out that the war had been called off, but he didn't know. And one of the men that he killed was a French diplomat. Now Washington was a young soldier, a young lieutenant, right, at that time. Now, just think for a moment, if that happened to any one of us, or whatever traumatic thing that happens to us in our daily lives, how do we react to that? How do we bounce back from that? That defines context. Context is what we say to ourselves, is the story we tell ourselves, is what drives us. Context is me saying, you know, I'm not feeling, I don't think I'm good enough. But nonetheless, I go out and try. But it's pointless going out and trying because the context is holding you back. So your mindset is what needs to be examined. So context is really an important part of the CPR. As a matter of fact, to me, I'll find out as I go on examining the subject, but to me is the most important part of the CPR context. Now, at the end, there is a magic moment, and I expect that we're going to see that this evening. When you pull out your CPR, you will find that all the results have been achieved. It is it's kind of like calling your shots in pools before they happen. Before you take the shot, you call what shot is going to happen. In a similar way, that's how the CPR works. For me, it's a most interesting tool, and it's something that I plan to use, and it's something that I would encourage you to take a closer look at. Not just in, every time we do a CPR document for a project we're doing, but something a tool which you can actually use day by day, project by project in your own life. That's my thing. All right.